Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you still have some energy to join our amazing panel this afternoon. For those who haven't met me before, my name is Ihab El-Sonbati. I'm a corporate partner in the global law firm DLA Piper, and I take care of our sovereign wealth funds and Middle Eastern clients both ways, helping our Middle East clients doing business in the Americas and our Americas clients doing business in the US. It is a great privilege for me today to moderate this important panel. And one of the most exciting developments in the rise of industrial AI is that it helps companies rethink supply chain, improve energy use, and make smarter decisions at scale. With these opportunities come new challenges, especially around governance, regulations, and long-term sustainability. I know in my firm, DLA Piper, we are active on that, but today it is a great opportunity to hear from leaders who are driving measurable challenges and changes. I would like to introduce our panels. Barbara Hampton is the president and CEO of Siemens Corporation, where she guides the company's strategy and engagement in serving the company's largest market. She views the true purpose of technology as expanding what's humanly possible. Most recently, Barbara served as president and CEO of Siemens Government Technologies, a leading integrator of Siemens products and services for federal government agencies and departments. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
Next, we have Alice Ashpital. She is the head of sustainability for the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team. Alice joined Mercedes in May of 2022 to lead the newly created sustainability department, and since then, Alice has developed the team's industry-leading sustainability strategy and accredited environmental management system. She oversees a flagship decarbonization project related to sustainable fuels and material innovations. Great to have you, Alice.
Thank you.
And finally, Matthew Wills. He is the president, CEO of One Region, a nonprofit civic coalition of chief executives and business owners dedicated to driving growth and enhancing quality of life across Northwest Indiana. Under his leadership, One Region has emerged as the leading catalyst for transformation change in the greater Southern Shore region. Please join me in a round of applause to our esteemed speakers for this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm going to applaud you.
Let's dive in. So let's start off the conversation regarding the rapid innovation of AI from a perspective of efficiency and sustainability. Barbara, allow me to start with you. Siemens has been at the forefront of industrial AI and digitalization. What are the most promising applications you're seeing that simultaneously drive efficiency, resilience, and sustainability?
Well, thank you, first of all, Concordia, for having us. And I will tell you that I think there are three building blocks that everyone should be aware of and ideally using as they make changes in the real world. The first of those is the digital twin, the idea of being able to model just about anything virtually. The second is software-defined automation, enabling our automation technology with software. And we've experienced this with our own vehicles now, et cetera. The third is the application of AI to nearly everything. And so between AI and data, software-defined automation, and the digital twins, I think you'll hear from my colleagues that we can transform everything in the real world.
Fantastic. Thank you for the insights, Barbara. Matthew, given the One Region focuses on driving regional economic growth through industry partnership, I'm curious, how are you seeing industrial AI and advanced manufacturing shape local competitiveness and workforce needs on the ground in Indiana?
That's a great question, Ehab. Thank you for that. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of my colleagues' remarks about digital twins. You know, I come from a part of the country that is in the middle of a generational transformation, having been one of the major heavy industrial engines of the world for the past 100 years, and now looking for ways to redeploy some of those legacy industrial assets for the next economy. So moving from legacy heavy manufacturing to advanced manufacturing, AI-enabled processes, cyber-physical systems, and a lot of that does rely on simulation, on reskilling and training legacy workforces in some of these frontier technologies. You know, I represent communities like Gary and Hammond, Indiana, and East Chicago, the south side of Chicago, which, you know, if you've been seeing anything coming out of that part of the country recently with the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park, we're seeing transformation and resilience really are the name of the game. And so I was really pleased to have an opportunity to speak on this panel because there are so many of those assets that were very, very valuable over 100 years ago in making the steel and refining petroleum products that have powered the world economy. Now, how do you translate those? Well, it's going to require a massive, very coordinated effort to rebuild a workforce and to apply those technologies. What does, you know, steel manufacturing times AI look like? And those are the things that we grapple with every day. So,
thank you, Matthew. Alice, I have an important question. Do you get to have free tickets in every Formula One?
I wish.
If you ever have, think of us. So seriously, we'll move to you next because F1 is synonymous with extreme performance and the innovation. So as outsider, I would like to know what sustainability breakthrough in motorsport could be translated into broader industrial or consumer markets.
Yeah, so it's a great question. I think what's really exciting is a Formula One car is made, about 75% of it is made up of carbon fiber, which is an incredibly energy intensive material to make and also very hard to recycle. It's got two main components, fibers and a resin system. And although within Formula One it makes up 75% of our car, actually in the world of users of carbon fiber, we're very small. Aerospace is the huge user. And by utilizing and trialing more sustainable versions of carbon fiber in Formula One, we're able to then create a catalyst for change in aerospace. And really excitingly, at the race we've just had in Baku, we trialed our first bio-based resin on the car, which is an amazing byproduct of biodiesel production, and that's replacing traditional petroleum-based feedstocks, which has big impact on emissions reduction. And it's just a really tangible way of showing how we can innovate and move forward in Formula One, but also in the wider world.
Amazing. So we'll go back to Barbara again to further dig into a conversation regarding efficient energy consumption. How do you balance the need for reliable energy to power industrial operations with long-term decarbonization goals?
Yeah, we are in the midst of a transformation, aren't we? And what's been so exciting is to see our tech partners, the hyperscalers who are building the data centers that are powering the AI, that's enabling us to dream and play with virtual models for the future. The tech leaders themselves are the ones who are in fact investing in renewable energy to power those data centers. What we see happening is very much a virtuous cycle. The tools that we'll use, that those hyperscalers create, are going to help us bring things like nuclear power back into our world, right? It takes the power of simulation and the power of enhanced engineering that will enable us to actually accelerate progress on more sustainable outcomes. So everywhere along the cycle, from how we deploy power to data centers, to how we move that power across the grid, all of that is enabled by modeling and software. I will tell you that you can look at the real world and you can ask yourself, anything that can be connected can be made smarter. And if we can do that, then we can start to transform the same tools that allow us to innovate, allow us to decarbonize, allow us to imagine more resilience and actually implement those changes. People keep talking to me about choices between sustainability and innovation, and it is a false choice because, in fact, it is these very tools that make it possible for us to drive security, sustainability, and economic prosperity.
Amazing insights, Barbara. Alice, I would like to turn the conversation over to you now. As supply chain and motorsports are highly global and fast-moving, what strategy have you worked for reducing emissions and resource using without slowing the development?
Yeah, great. And I mean, the first thing for us is ultimately performance is king in Formula One. We're a business that goes racing 24 weekends a year. And so sustainable high performance is really at the heart of what we do. And our supply chain are critical in that. I mean, for most people in the room here, Scope 3 and the emissions associated with your supply chain are going to be huge. And we've kind of taken a three-pronged approach around communication. So firstly, we've got a very diverse supply chain of small, medium-sized enterprises, family-run businesses in Northamptonshire, all the way through to global multinationals. So helping them understand what the challenge is, and then secondly, having dual targets. So we've got a set of targets for activities and emissions that we know we can accelerate faster and bring them down, but a longer tail for some of our small, medium-sized enterprises and really looking at how we can help them get to net zero, but on a timeline that works for them and actually helps their businesses. And I think the final one is education, which I'm sure you'll hear a lot of over this week, but helping the supply chain understand what's in it for them, what's in it for them to become more sustainable, how is their business going to grow. With the supply chain we've been working with on the sustainable carbon fibers, understanding how this innovation is going to unlock new business for them has been really crucial in getting the accelerated development and actually bringing these products that don't affect performance and also in some ways enhance it.
Fantastic. We're doing very good in timing. We have like a few more questions that we would like to ask the panelists, but we have two amazing questions from the floor just to keep the engagement going on. Maybe this one is for you, Matt, but if, of course, anyone is like more than welcome to contribute. How do you ensure innovation also advance safety and equity, not just efficiency?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take a stab at starting that off. I think the work that we see happening in our part of the world around innovation, we see a lot of what I might call recombinant innovation. So looking at how do you take existing technology that may have served a particular purpose for a significant length of time, whether that's RFID chips and inserting those into plant specimens to track growth like a barcode system. And so, and what that has allowed us to do is to bring users of some of those technologies that might not otherwise be naturally kind of part of that innovation curve and bring them along so that they see opportunities for commercialization by simply recombining and tweaking some existing components of tech that already exists. And so, in areas that are undergoing economic transformation and may have experienced economic decline for any length of time, I think it's a near-term way of helping to bring folks off of the sidelines and ensure that those innovations that then come to market are the prosperity they create is more inclusive than they might otherwise.
Let me build on this whole subject of as we build our workforce. Here in the United States, of course, we've got this huge focus on manufacturing and a real concern by potential manufacturers that they won't be able to find the people. But what we've discovered in our own operations at Siemens is that AI is the first technology that actually comes to us instead of requiring this deep study and preparation. We have a factory in Fort Worth, Texas, making the very electrical components that help data centers manage their electricity. We needed to hire 700 people. The big question was, where are those people going to come from? It's Dallas-Fort Worth. It's a huge manufacturing hub, and everyone is fully employed. Across the United States, there are 500,000 open jobs at any given time across manufacturing. And the team said, why don't we make our first hires high school principals and teachers who've retired? let's create a curriculum, and we'll have it right there on site. And we have brought people who were former pizza delivery drivers or chefs or checkout clerks, and we've brought them into the manufacturing environment. Here they are earning a higher wage, and because they are dealing with a technology that speaks to them in their language, they've been able to get on board and be productive right away.
Alice, a bit on like the balance between safety and efficiency before we move to the second question.
Yes, and in Formula One, safety is obviously super important. And so making sure when we were looking at the bio-based resin that was going into our carbon fiber, it was so important that it met all of the requirements, the highest level of technical performance and safety. So I think it's always about working with the supply chain, working with those who are innovating and sharing our requirements really early on and having that dialogue so that we can make sure we're always kind of delivering on quality, safety and sustainability.
Amazing. Another question from the floor would like to answer, and maybe we start with you, Barbara. If you had to replicate one innovation across your entire footprint next year, what would be it and why?
If we're going to replicate?
Yes.
Only
one.
Just one. This industrial co-pilot then at all of our sites, and I'll tell you why. We actually deployed, our research and development team deployed this co-pilot in a manufacturing environment that had first and second shift. And then they tracked satisfaction. Satisfaction was rising, going through the roof. They looked at it and said, but there's something odd here. Second shift is using this like twice as much as first shift. Everybody's happy. What's going on here? They went in to interview the people on second shift, and what they said was, this is easy. It used to be that if something broke down, we would have to call somebody from first shift, because all the really top-notch people get the reward of working on first shift. So we'd have to wake them up to get them to help come fix a problem. Now we start with the industrial co-pilot. We're generally able to fix problems ourselves. Second shift is happy, first shift is happy. I'm telling you, this is what I would deploy immediately.
Amazing. Alice, same question to you. Like, if one only footprint for the next year, what would it be and why?
So it would be our adoption of sustainable fuels across our road freight, not just within Europe, but really scaling that globally because of the amount of traveling freight that we have, being able to adopt drop-in solutions like HVO100, which has helped reduce our European footprint by over 500 tons of CO2. Adopting that globally would be where I would want to go.
Amazing. So, let's now go back to our questions. And again, guys, you will have some time in the coffee break after the session to complete discussing the questions that you had. But maybe within the 1.5 minutes we have, we start with you, Matthew. What would be your concluding remarks?
You know, I think as I was thinking about the topic and some of the questions that we looked at in advance, one of the things that's so critical right now that we're hearing from a lot of different stakeholders across the country is speed to power, redundancy of critical infrastructure. We see parts of the country, we had a great conversation this morning about what's happening in Phoenix with, reshoring production of microelectronics. I would say, rethinking how do we use legacy assets for new economic uses. I think that's a big topic for the foreseeable future, and places like the industrial Midwest, the Great Lakes Basin economy stand to see significant transformation in the years ahead, and that's going to be driven by the innovations that we've been talking about. So,
amazing, Barbara.
Yes, I'd say from the track to the grid, all the way to those Great Lakes. Yep. Let's use the technology now available to us at our fingertips to actually plan and design that more sustainable future.
Amazing. Alice, your final remarks?
I think it'd be engaging with your supply chains. They've got amazing innovations that they're probably not sharing with you yet, and just having those conversations and starting those dialogues to find those solutions you don't even know exist yet, and then figuring out how to deploy them.
Yeah, and it is fantastic, just to conclude, to see how industries were looked at to be heavily in resources and energy are being now leading into innovation and efficiency and equity. Again, like I would like as a floor to thank the panelists with me with a round of applause. It was a fantastic session, and I learned a lot. And we are also excited to share ideas and other clarifications with the rest of attendees outside the room. Thank you guys very much.
See you out
Thank
there.
you.